If you want to know why players actively defend greedy monetization, we have to look past the surface. Why do consumers defend billion-dollar companies that actively restrict their resources? To understand this, we have to look at real behavioral psychology, because these players aren't just defending a game. Subconsciously, they are defending their own brains. The first massive concept at play is operant conditioning, specifically a variable ratio schedule. In plain English, this is the exact psychology of a casino slot machine. When you pull on a banner, you never know exactly when you're going to get that 5-star character, but the game uses a pity system to give you the illusion of control. Your brain gets completely hijacked by a dopamine loop. When players defend terrible gacha rates, their brains are literally defending the system that supplies their happy chemicals. If they stop and admit the system is rigged to exploit them, it threatens their dopamine supply. They fight you because you are threatening the very thing that gives them a rush. Next, we have to talk about social identity theory. When you spend hundreds of hours inside a massive digital world, it stops being just a game and becomes your tribe. The community naturally splits into the loyalists versus the critics. According to psychology, human beings have an evolutionary need to defend their tribe because it makes them feel secure. This is why you see massive community wars whenever a new competing game launches. When players defend stingy rewards or expensive bundles, it has nothing to do with the game's economy. It's an ego defense. They are proving their loyalty to the tribe, echoing the takes of their favorite content creators, and fighting off what they see as an attack from outsiders. Admitting the game is flawed feels like admitting they chose the wrong tribe. But the manipulation goes even deeper through scarcity and the sunk cost fallacy. These games are designed around daily commissions and stamina caps. The game dictates your schedule. By forcing you to log in every single day to spend your resin or gather minimal resources, the game weaves itself into your actual daily routine. When you tell a player that the game's practices are predatory, you aren't just criticizing a game, you are telling them that the hundreds of hours they spent grinding artifacts and logging in every morning was a waste of time. The human ego cannot handle that level of psychological pain, so it rejects your argument to protect itself. They double down and defend the grind just to validate their own wasted time. Then, there is the intense emotional manipulation of intermittent reinforcement, which creates a consumer version of trauma bonding. The developer holds all the power. They control the rules, the prices, and the communication. When the company does something greedy or ignores the community during an anniversary, it stresses the player base out. Anxiety spikes, but then, the company hands out a few free pulls, or drops an incredible teaser for a highly anticipated character, and the players feel a massive wave of relief. This toxic cycle, periods of intense frustration followed by tiny breadcrumbs of relief, creates a highly irrational emotional bond. Players start making excuses for the company's bad behavior just to keep themselves from feeling miserable. Finally, we cannot ignore parasocial relationships and the halo effect. These games are character-driven. Players fall in love with the designs, the voice acting, and the lore. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where if you like one aspect of something, you automatically assume the rest of it is good. Because a player feels a deep, almost parasocial attachment to their favorite character, they project those positive feelings onto the faceless corporation that created them. They defend the monetization because criticizing the company feels like betraying the characters they love. When you put all of this together, the slot machine dopamine, the tribal identity, the hijacked daily routines, the toxic reward cycles, and the emotional attachment, you realize you aren't arguing with logic, you are arguing with powerful subconscious conditioning. The next time you see someone defending the indefensible, remember, they are trapped in a psychological loop. You can point out the cage, but you can't force them to walk out of it.